I would like to begin this evening by saying that this past weekend, our school family experienced the loss of a member. Karen Gertie had been a part of our family for 16 years, and during that time had a positive and lasting impact on the lives of countless students and staff. I would also like to inject a little personal statement saying she was also part of a book club that I was involved in for the last 13 years. So this is a very personal loss for me as well, in addition to the fact that she was also a colleague of mine for many, many years. While we are never guaranteed any amount of time, we can certainly selfishly say that we would have very much prayed for Karen to have been with us much longer than she was. Let us take a moment of silence. Karen was employed for 16 years with the Pickens County School System. She served as a media specialist at Pickens High School and Pickens County Middle School. She coordinated and organized the Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl for the district. She provided assistance to students and coworkers whenever it was needed. I worked with her in the middle schools, and she was never too proud to offer any sort of assistance. She would come by my classroom, and whatever help I needed, she was more than willing to offer it. I worked with her at a Helen Ruffin Reading Bowl, and that was delightful. Working with her, being with her at book clubs every month, and we would go around the table and choose what we were going to read for the next month. That was a delight in and of itself, but she had a tremendous sense of humor, and I always look forward to seeing her. Those of you who did not have the benefit of knowing her personally, it was your loss, and I'm sorry that you did not get to know her on a first name basis. I like the quote that's here at the end. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. That quote is from Nelson Mandela. But as we would sit around the table, usually at a Mexican restaurant, we would be talking about our students, past and present. And I was always touched by the fact that she cared for those students so much. And when we would be talking about activities that would be coming up, she cared for every single student. Those who were on the fringe, who might not be understood by very many people, and who might be struggling with being understood. And she would always be their advocate. And she would say, well, what about this student? And how do you think they might feel in this situation? And her heart for every single student always stood out. And I loved her for that. And she will be missed. Thank you. I would like to call the October 13th, 2022 regular board meeting to order. at 6:15 p.m. Mr. Tucker Green will be leading the invocation, and out of respect, I would like for you to stand, please, as he does so.
Would let us pray, dear Heavenly Father. We thank you for the day you've given us. We thank you for all the many blessings in our lives, Lord, and we know that we're on borrowed time and that you're in control of all things, Lord. We ask for peace and understanding and comfort in that, Lord. We ask that you be with Miss Gertie's family in the days and months ahead, and give them peace and strength to move forward with this very unexpected loss. Be with our school district and the people that loved her and were close to her, and give them that strength as well. Lord, we ask that you put your shield of protection over our school district, our students, our staff, their families. And Lord, we ask that you be with us throughout this meeting, give us wisdom and guidance, that we may go forward in the way you'd see fit. All these blessings we ask in your sweet and holy name. Amen.
Thank you. If you will, please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, being led by Mr. Steve Smith.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of the agenda. Mr. Young, do you have any amendments to the agenda?
I do, Madam Chair. I would ask that the board amend the agenda this evening to delete action item B, approval of the natural gas contract for 1 year, move the remaining actions items up in order. Gas companies are not prepared to commit to a contract price until 1 month before the start of the contract, which is in December, so I will be bringing this action item back to the board in November. So I would like that motion, Madam Chair.
All right. Thank you. Do I hear a motion to make the change in the agenda as suggested by Mr. Young?
I move we approve the agenda as amended.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Green.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for that second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? The vote is 5-0. The motion is approved unanimously. The agenda has been approved. Next item is Superintendent Reports.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We will start this evening with a report from our CFO, Ms. Amy.
Thank you, Mr. Young. What we have for tonight is our FY23 general fund report and all the additional funds we're required to report. For the month of September, through the month of September, we've received 6.86% of our budgeted revenue and expended 18.42% of the approved budget, that should say approved, not tentative budget. Our consolidation of funds, Fund 150, reflects expenditures through September 2022, but we have not made transfers for this account yet. Next month, we will be bringing a considerable amendment to those funds. We had some additional federal funds that have come in. We have already been able to allot them to the schools, but we didn't have time to get all their feedback on where they want them placed. So we will be adding some funds for the schools to expend for the benefit of the students. So we will bring that back next month for that amendment. As always, I like to report we have no debt at this time. Our capital outlay fund, our SPLOST revenue for September 2022 is $733,176.32. We earned interest of $1,742.01 and expended $562,173.78. And that brought the month-end SPLOST balance to $8,942,833.12. In our special revenue funds, we have collected 7.43% of our budgeted revenue and expended 26.43% of our budgeted expenditures. I was going to remind you on that last item that we have to spend the money first and then we're able to ask for the reimbursement. So that's why those ratios are like that. Y'all have any questions?
What was the SPOS collection for?
It's $733,176.32. You want that back? Pull up that SPOS collection report. That one is. This shows our running total. This is revenue for SPOS 6. We are still expending SPOS 5 monies at this time. We have about $4 million left on that fund before we kick over into the SPOS 6 expenditures. Our last report, as required by Georgia Department of Education, go to the school activities. After the end of each quarter, we're required to present the school activity funds by school. This reflects their beginning balance, revenues collected, disbursements spent, and what their ending balance is for each school location. And that is their internal school activity account for your review and approval. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. All right, our operations and construction update from Stacy.
Maintenance, not a lot going on other than the normal day-to-day stuff. We're well into the school year now, got most of the big kinks worked out, so they're doing a great job on the buildings and the campuses. Transportation, our recruitment training practices are in full swing. We are working really hard. We're reaching out to former drivers. We're reaching out to people that maybe put applications in the last year and a half, trying to recruit some of those people maybe to come back and give it a try. We do have a couple of bites, which is good because we pretty much have the route staffed now, fully staffed, but we have a lot of elderly people that are having to take a lot of medical leave right now. So we have 5 or 6 a day out. So that's subs we've got to come up with. So it's challenging, but we're trying our best. It's so hard when you only have your routes full and you're using any subs you can get to complete those routes because people are out. So if we have a midday field trip or a 2 o'clock, they need to leave at 2 o'clock. I don't have anybody back from a route to do it. So it's been really hard to do some of those field trips, but I'm working trying to get maybe 1 or 2 people that are willing just to do that don't want to drive full time or something, that would just do our field trips and help us out with that kind of stuff. So apologize, sometimes we have had to say no, and it's a shame, but I can't make them drive if they don't want to drive. You know, I just can't do it. Food service, our free and reduced number is around 43% at this time. This is not the final number. It will come in late October. We're reaching out to the people that have not completed the new free and reduced form. They have been stopped now. They're not getting free and reduced meals, so it's really a challenge right now. And our overall balance for student charges is $15,000 right now since the beginning of the year. So it's a challenge to get this money because people are surprised that they got to pay. We've been advertising it. We've had it on Facebook. We've had it everywhere. We've had it in the papers. We've been talking back months before school started that it was going away. So it's really a challenge right now. And best we're reaching out to these people, trying to get them to fill these applications out before the end of October because that's the deadline for sure, cut dry. This is National School Lunch Week, and this year's theme is Peace, Love, and School Lunch. I don't know who come up with it. That's pretty cool. On the construction end, Martha's got some pictures for us here. The ag facility at the high school, interior, we're so close. Bleachers will be in the first end of this week, first next week for the show area. That's the show area. The bleachers will be on that back wall right there, and they go pretty much the length of it, about 6 rows high. It's really neat.
Stationary or the ones that
they fold in and out. They go in and out. They're electric, just like the gymnasium. So it gives them a bigger area. We met with all the ag people, and they brought in a pen person to get all the pens ordered and all for the staging and cleaning the animal, getting ready to show and all that. They've asked for a couple of other things we're looking at. They're wanting a projector or maybe some screens, a couple of screens in the area to show a live picture of some of the things that's, which is, you know, we just gotta work it out now. I wish we'd have known earlier they wanted it, but we'll get it. Martha, keep going. Is that all those? That's the lab area. It's beautiful. I mean, it's really beautiful. It's a really good area that can be used for multiple things. I mean, you can use this for some meetings and things too if we want to. It's really a beautiful area. Guess what's completed, except for the structure's totally complete. We're doing plumbing and electrical right now.
I was very excited.
God.
I saw it drive.
You weren't even more excited than I was, Tucker. You were. But that's outside, and that's the interior. It's gonna be a beautiful one. It's nice. It's really it's state of art. So we're excited that is pretty well finished. I think they can probably. Well, you got a drop dead date. Well, I ain't gonna say drop dead because we're still missing some windows and stuff for the ag facility. The glass and stuff, we're having a really hard time getting glass right now for some reason. So there's some of those windows missing. I told them if we didn't get it, let's put some temporary stuff in so we can get a CO and go ahead and get the building over to our people and use it. So they're saying November 11th, they'll hand it to us, but other than the punch list stuff.
Did Lawson's get the AC done?
Pretty much.
They told me they were doing it.
Yes, pretty much. Did a good job. You're going to be excited when you get to go back in and see it. It's so much different than it was when the last time y'all were out there. Last item is our custodial clean school award, and this month it goes to Pickens Junior High. Did a great job. There's our custodians that work there. We asked them to come, but they all respectfully declined. They just said, well, 2 of them or 3 of them said half the work, and the others said they just didn't want to. So, but it's Christy Hill, Karen Honey, Patricia Nichols, Estelle Fitz, and John Ray. And you all know John, he's been here forever. And Estelle, they do a great job. So we'll get with them and get their This is getting kind of exciting because they called me and said, would you send the reports? We want to review them and see if we improved or we went backwards. So it's getting to be a little positive thing. So I think it's going to go good. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, Madam Chair, we have added as an emphasis for us this year, curriculum updates from Dr. Goodman. Come on up, Janet. Talk to us about some curriculum.
Good evening. We talked about the last time we met with the board at the workshop, our focus on increasing achievement to have every student reach or exceed expectations. And so I wanted to talk about what we've been doing for the first quarter of this year in order to meet that goal. We've been planning with the schools, supporting the schools as much as we can, meeting with all different leadership groups, and we have the 2 strategies in our district plan that we're working on to increase the percentage of students who score proficient or above on the Georgia Milestones Assessment. The schools have rolled out their beginning of the year benchmarks. They have analyzed the data. They have figured out which kids need support in targeted skills and interventions, and they have scheduled and worked with the personnel at their schools to get those in place. And they've been doing that for years, but we're working on getting it systematic across all grade levels, across every school, to work with every single child. And that's what we keep doing. And they've been doing this for a long time, and we're just excited to keep supporting them in those efforts. That is also called MTSS, which is a multi-tiered system of supports. That's a Georgia Department of Education initiative, and we have sent out, you may have seen it, there's a video for parents on what MTSS means, because we use all the acronyms as we do in education to help them understand that it's to work with the children on their specific skills to get them up to grade level. That's all it is. So we sent out that video through, we let them know at Infinite Campus, and it's on Facebook so they can see it there. We also sent out the same type of video informational for the teachers so that they knew the different verbiage from the Department of Education. Again, they've been doing all these things, but the Department of Ed has specific acronyms and titles for it. So we wanted to make sure that they understood they're doing a great job teaching. These are some of the new terms you might hear, that what you've been doing, and just put in Department of Education terms. So that went out this week. Also, we had on our strategy 1.2 in our district plan is to increase literacy across the curriculum. Obviously, Kids have to have literacy first to get any skills in any content area. So we are working on a specific strategy called thinking maps. It's been around for a while. It's very research-based, long history of research. The Department of Education actually used that initiative across the state in 2010, 11, in that range. And some of the schools have held on to it and kept going. And several people in our department have used it prior in other schools and seen great success with that. So we worked with Mr. Thompson and Ms. Helco to be the pilot schools this year to roll out thinking maps at their school. And basically it is, it's using 8 different visual patterns to help kids think about their thinking, learn how to problem solve, put their language into visual representations. So that way we can reach all the learners. They can see it, they can hear it, they can talk about it in ways that meet their grade level and content area. And then as we hopefully roll it out through the schools, if we see success there, then they'll be getting it from kindergarten all the way through the high school. If we're seeing success, we want to make sure that they have that all the way through. Okay. Our instructional focus, we've been working on universal instruction in August, and then in September we worked on the interventions to support targeted areas of need. In October, we're looking at student engagement across the board, because obviously we can have the best teachers in the world, but if the kids aren't sitting in the seats and paying attention and working together, they're not going to have the achievement that we all want them to have. So we're going to be working with student engagement, with the principals, the assistant principals, the academic coaches, everyone that we can reach and talk to about what that looks like, how to do the best job we can do. Part of that was Destiny Shope and our curriculum director, Carolyn Wilkins, went out and observed classrooms across all 6 schools, all grade levels, all content areas, and to kind of get a baseline of where we are. And then we're going to bring that back to the school leadership and talk about what student engagement looks like and how we can make sure every child, every day, is engaged in school. And then we have the specific content areas for math. We have many math teachers from grades kindergarten through 12th grade. We have new math standards rolling out next school year that we have prepared this year. So they are going to deep dive math to really dig into those standards and understand how to teach them. If they're changing, some of the standards change grade level a bit, or where they're placed in the pacing guide. And so they're going to reset work on that. It's actually, some of the meetings are here in Pickens County, so they don't have to go far. So we have all the math teachers who wanted to go. They are going to the math deep dive. And then on literacy, our curriculum and instruction department have worked with the schools and the teachers, because teachers often learn best from other teachers. And we are having a literacy symposium on November 8th, where we have the teachers in the schools and the kids are out of school because we have election day. So they're doing a half day for a literacy symposium where the teachers have signed up to present different literacy activities and engagement activities to each other. So we have teachers from all of the schools, all the way up through high school, presenting to the other literacy teachers. So we're real excited about that they can learn some new ideas from each other and move forward in literacy. We just want to keep continuing to model innovative practices across the district in all the content areas, and just make sure every single child we can get to reach that goal that we put out there. So, anybody have questions about what we're doing? Thank you so much for your support.
A lot of exciting stuff. And that, Madam Chair, concludes the superintendent reports for the evening.
Okay. Thank you, sir. The next action item is approval of personnel. Do I have a motion to approve the personnel action report as presented?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith and Mr. Gartrell, for seconding that motion. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? All right, the vote is 5-0. Motion passes unanimously. The next action item is approval of financial reports. Do I have a motion to approve the financial reports that Ms. Smith has presented?
I'll make that motion.
All right, thank you, Mr.
I'll
Green.
second.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Is there any further discussion? Okay. All in favor? And the vote is 5-0. right. And this, the third action item is request for final approval of policy BCBI, public participation in board meetings. Mr. Young, have we received any public comment on this policy revision?
We have not, Madam Chair.
Do I have a motion to give final approval of the requested revisions to policy PCBI, public participation in board meetings, as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Green.
Second.
And the second comes from Mr. Smith. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? The vote is 5-0. Okay. The next action item is approval of the Jasper Middle School out-of-state field trip. Do I have a motion to approve the field trip request for the Jasper Middle School 6th grade students to travel to Chattanooga, Tennessee on April 20th, 2023, as presented?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Mr. Smith? Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you so much. And is there any further discussion? All in favor? The vote is 5-0. Passes unanimously. The next action item is approval of minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the September 8th, 2022 called board meeting, 5 p.m., and the September 8th, 2022 regular board meeting, 6 p.m. as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? All in favor? 5-0. Motion passes unanimously. Next item is approval of surplus. Do I have a motion to approve the surplus submitted from the Nutrition Services Department as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, I want one of those ice makers like we got 30 years out of that's in this disposal.
I did not get a chance to do all my homework like I normally always do. What all is on this list here, if you don't mind indulging?
Okay, you may talk.
Martha's got it pulled up.
Okay, you can scroll down more.
There's your ice maker right there from the junior high, 30 years of service.
What is a milk box?
You don't know, oh, you're too young to know what a milk box is.
It's where you keep your milk.
Like a cooler? Yes. I didn't know it was called a milk box.
What do you think an ice maker?
Yeah, it sits right beside the ice maker.
I never drank milk.
Most of this is just old worn out stuff, and it will go to an auction, and the money received will go in the general fund as always.
Thank you, I'm all good.
Oh, goodness. Any further discussion? All right, all in favor? The vote is 5-0. Thank you so much. Next item is public participation. Mr. Young, have we received any requests for public participation at this board meeting?
We have not, Madam Chair.
All right. Next item is board comments. Anything? No? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Okay. The second, is there any further discussion? All in favor? All right, 5-0, we are adjourned at 6:41 PM.